Disclaimer: I recognize that sometimes Reddit posts are works of fiction, but I believe that there are still some valuable lessons to be talked about and discussed. Number one, we have been discussing boundaries, so this post will speak to that. Number two, the whole child free conversation is coming up because more and more women are going child free. So that's number two. And number three, the holidays are coming up, and this type of situation will inevitably happen. So that's just my disclaimer. Let's get to this Am I the A-hole post. She says, Am I the a-hole for refusing to cover my coworker's shifts after she called me lazy for not having kids? And if you think back 30 seconds ago where I said we're discussing boundaries, we're discussing holidays, and we're discussing child-free conversations, you can know and understand why I chose to do this one. All right, so let's get into the post. She says, I, 28-year-old woman, work full-time in retail. And as anyone who's worked retail knows, it can be pretty exhausting. I've got a busy life outside of work, trying to balance my hobbies, taking care of my apartment, seeing friends, and just taking care of myself. You know, normal adult stuff. I don't have kids, but that doesn't mean I'm lounging around with endless free time. And I want to pause there. Even if she did have endless free time, it's her time. She created this life. Child-free people have the right to do what they want with their time or do absolutely nothing. If you decided to have children, those are your children, and you do not get to pawn off your time, energy, and responsibilities to other people simply because you assume that they want to take on some of your responsibilities. So that's just another disclaimer. One of my coworkers, Sarah, who's 32, has two young kids. She's always asking people to cover her shifts, which I understand because being a mom is hard and things come up. Over the past year, I've covered for her quite a few times when she had to leave early or couldn't make it in because of some kid emergency. I did it out of kindness because I get that life can be unpredictable and I wanted to help her out. But I've started to notice that I'm one of the only ones she asked to help cover her shifts. It's like she expects me to do it just because I don't have the same responsibilities as her. Last week, she asked me again to cover for her because her kid had a school event. Normally, I try to help, but I already had plans to spend the day with my sister, who I hadn't seen in a while. I told Sarah I couldn't do it this time, and she just sighed and said, Must be nice to have all that free time. You don't have kids, so it's not like you're busy with anything important. The nerve, the gall. Okay. I was pretty taken aback. So was I. So was I. I was pretty taken aback. I told her, just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I don't have a life. My time is important too. She kind of rolled her eyes and walked away, but I could tell she wasn't happy with me. That right there would say to me that she doesn't deserve any more favors or any more of your kindness because of how she acted when you set a boundary. Now she's been telling our other coworkers that I'm selfish and I don't understand how hard it is to be a mom. A couple of them have started acting a bit distant toward me, and I overheard one of them saying something like, She has it easy. No wonder she doesn't get it. I didn't realize not having kids made me less deserving of respect at work. What really gets me is that I've always tried to help when I could, but just because I don't have kids doesn't mean my life is suddenly stress free or that I can drop everything at a moment's notice. I feel like Sarah doesn't respect my time at all, and that really bothers me. I ended up mentioning it to my manager, hoping for a little understanding, but they just said it's a personal conflict and didn't want to get involved. So now I'm feeling stuck like the bad guy because I said no for once. I honestly don't think it's fair to expect me to cover her shifts all the time just because I don't have children. I have responsibilities too, and I deserve to have a life outside of work. But some of my coworkers seem to think I should be helping out more because Sarah's a mom and I'm not. Am I being selfish here? Am I the a-hole for finally standing my ground and refusing to cover her shifts after she basically called me lazy? Absolutely not. People need to recognize that no is an answer, and you shouldn't feel bad for it. A lot of the times, women get recruited to be the end all be all. We get recruited into unpaid labor, and this is one of those instances. And yes, People do, even if they're not talking about their responsibilities. Some women are caretakers, some women have organizations, some women have hobbies, some women volunteer, and some women could just be twiddling their thumbs at home. That is their business. Their business is not yours. Mind your own business. So, like, yes, you have to learn how to respect people's no. And ladies, we have got to be okay with them being upset. Just because they're upset doesn't mean that next time you have to kowtow to their request. You don't have to. This is going to be the only way that we shift things, is saying no and feeling uncomfortable with it for a little while. And ladies, when you ask and you get a no, learn to respect that. Let's get into a few of these comments. Educational Tangelo says, not the a-hole. Stop helping any disrespectful B-words who think they're entitled to your time because you're worthless without kids. Make it a blanket policy, because cliquey, backstabbing women in the workplace are the worst. I've copped this too. One workplace I wasn't allowed to take time off at all over the summer for 7 years in a row because I didn't have kids. So I apparently didn't need to, but the people with kids did. Conscious Survey said, I've dealt with that at a workplace as well. I was scheduled the first Christmas day we were open, a casino, and I decided I wasn't doing it again. All of the parents fought for prime summer weeks during the first round of vacation picks. I chose Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. Then Christmas came around and they were bitching because I didn't have kids, and them spending Christmas with their kids was more important than what I was doing. I told them directly to F off. And I informed them that my mom had late stage breast cancer and I'm her kid, and I'm not missing her last Christmas or two for them because they wanted to go away in the summer. I left 2 years later and I got to enjoy mostly the last 3 Christmas days with my mom and my family. And that's another thing. Some parents, they're in the thick of things. Being a parent is challenging. We're always busy. We're always thinking about things, but we don't know that somebody else may be going through something as well. And if you don't take the time to ask questions and get to know people before assuming that they're lazy or just don't have responsibilities, you might not know that someone has a sick mother that they're dealing with. So please recognize the humanity in other people and that they might have things going on as well. Best Confidence says this, and that if somebody wants to just hang out all day in their underwear and watch TV, that's fine. Not saying that that's what OP is doing, just the point that that's somebody's personal choice and they get to do what they want with their time. They get to do what they want on their day off, not what others think is worthwhile. No is a complete sentence. And then J Law says, OP, it sounds like this nasty woman who you used to want to help is creating a hostile work environment for you. Don't bother going to your manager again. They clearly don't care. Yes, this is spot on. And this is another reason why these conversations need to be had, because this could literally be somebody's situation right now. She says, document everything from this point forward, and don't forget to write down dates and times of every single thing that has happened, which you have described to us, and everything else you haven't described to us. The details matter very much if you want to put it into this BS. Then go straight to HR. Do not walk out of their office until you have officially filed a complaint regarding the hostile work environment, so that anything done to you in retaliation will, in fact, be seen as retaliation and therefore put the company in legal jeopardy if they allow it. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I do sometimes know that putting in a complaint at HR can get some backlash, but if you want to document everything just in case, like this woman said, then go for it. Galene says, I like that. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to justify to anyone else why I chose to say it either. End of discussion. Yes, we need to get to that point where we're okay. Practice it. Role play it with somebody. No is a complete sentence, and recognizing that someone may say no to you, and it's not up to you to try to convince them to be a yes. All right, y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.